Evening, everybody. Just find you on my iPad. Here we go. Turn the sound off. Lovely. Evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night's card making session with me, Stacey Marsh. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and a very warm welcome to everyone this evening. Tonight I have another card for you using the gorgeous snail mail. I am addicted with this set, so the dies have arrived today, so I've had a little play, not much because it's been a really busy day for me and the girls. Wednesday always seems to disappear. Hi to everyone who's leaving some comments and saying hello. I really appreciate you joining me. I've got my warm cup of tea and I'm ready to start. So I'll just move my camera around so you can see my desk and we will get started. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. Bear with me, everyone. Just move my camera around. Okay, so you should now be able to see my desk. Yes, lovely, great. So I have been playing with the beautiful Snailed It stamp set, and this week I have made a few cards on my lives for you. We'll just do a quick little recap because why not? This is the Snailed It stamp set, and the dies have arrived today. The dies coordinate, of course, with the stamps. You get some lovely framelit dies that go around the images, and then you get some extra ones as well. So a few cards that I've been playing with this week. You would have seen these earlier on in my lives. So this is mainly just using the snail images and a couple of the other bits and pieces from the set. But tonight I'm going to use a little bit more from this bundle. This bundle is available in the January to June mini catalogue. It's brand new and you can purchase it through my online store. The details are on my page, and don't forget to use the hostess code for a free gift from me when you purchase it. So let's get started. So this is the card design I'm going to make for you this evening. Quite a lot going on this card, but I hope you like it. Just taking my cardie off, it's warm in here tonight. So I'm going to start with a slimline card base, and this is smoky slate cardstock, and I've paired that with some real red cardstock, and I have some basic white. I'll pop the measurements for this card on my page afterwards, so I'll update this post, and I'm working in inches this evening. So to start with, we're just going to work on our front piece. We're going to decorate that and then we can put our card together. You'll notice on the background of my card there's a little bit of stenciling in the scene behind, and I'm using this here. So this comes from the Dandy Laser series paper, one of the two. It's basically the laser cut paper from the Dandy Garden suite, and these elements you can use on your cards. So you get quite a few in the pack. You also get some extra pieces that you can use as well, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as a mask. So quite simply, I'm going to lay that on my card, and then using smoky slate to match our card base, I'm going to use one of the new blending brushes. These are so well used already, and I really like them. So the important thing when you're stenciling is to hold it in place. You can use washi tape, but I'm going to attempt to hold it in place without washi. So just take your blending brush to your ink pad, make sure you've got a good amount of ink there, try and get that in the centre, tap off any excess ink you've got onto your grid paper, and then I tend to find the easiest motion to use is little circles. Okay. And I think my ink pad is getting a little bit dry. Okay. So I'm just using, and then when you lift that off, you've got a really lovely stencil. image. It's a nice way to add a little bit more texture to your cards as well. And it's quite a subtle look as well, which is what I was going for, because I wanted to add some stamping onto it afterwards. So I love my spritzing. I'm a big fan of spritzing, as you all know, but it's just another way to break up that big area of white in your cards, especially with these slimline cards, because there tends to be a bigger area of white if you're using white. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our little hello stamp from our Snailed It stamp set, and I'm going to stamp onto the card front, and I'm going to use first, second and third generation stamping. So what I mean by that is when you ink up your stamp, you've got a good amount of ink on there. The first time you stamp, we would call that first generation, because you're using the first round of ink that you've got from your ink pad. The next time you stamp, that's second generation, and the third time you stamp is third generation. So each time you stamp, you get a different tone of that colour. So it's a great way of building up texture and just tones of the same colour. I'm going to stamp this just randomly across here, and I'm going to do that 3 times. So let's put one up here. Okay, let's do a few more down here because I've got a few more. And what I'm trying to do is again just break up that background, which I think we're starting to do. So then before I attach that to my card front, I'm going to do a little bit of spritzing, and I'm going to use my blends for this. And best thing to do is to clear the decks, because you don't want to get any ink on anything you don't want to. So now, using the felt tip end of your pen, you're going to push it against the lid so that you get dots of ink on your card. I'll just bring that up to the screen so you can see that. So we've now got some texture from our stencil, some extra texture from our stamping, and now we've got a little bit of spritz. So that's now a nice piece of background paper that we can use to build up our card. Okay, so I'm going to pop that onto a piece of real red. And for my mounts on this card, all I've done is I've changed it by 1/8 of an inch each time. Okay, but I'll pop all the measurements on this post once I've finished, and then this can go in the centre of our card. Like so. Okay, so we can now put our card base to one side, and we now need to bring in some scrap white cardstock. Okay, we'll use this piece. I'm just going to cut this off. This is where I was practicing earlier, just trying to see if I wanted red stamping or grey stamping. So onto here we're going to stamp a couple of images. We're going to stamp the lovely mushroom or toadstool display and this little fella here, and I'm going to stamp in basic grey. So the colour is just one tone darker than that smoky slate. I didn't really want to use basic black because it was quite bright. I wanted to stick with the kind of muted colour. And whilst I'm there, I'm also going to stamp our lovely speech bubble as well. Evening to you, Sophie, from Monsoon, Belgium. Oh no! We had monsoon weather last week. It's not pleasant, is it? I hope you're all safe and dry indoors. So now to bring in some colours, I'm going to use a mixture of cherry cobbler and real red for our mushroom. So I'm going to start with dark real red stamping blend for our toadstool. I say mushroom, but I mean toadstool. I'm using the fine end to colour this with. And then to use the dark cherry cobbler, I'm going to build up some shadows. I'm going to do some shadow in the bottom corner. And lots of people do shadowing in different ways. I am by no means an expert. And then the bottom part of the toadstool I'm going to do in this colour as well. So we've got a nice calm live this evening. A little bit of colouring, just what I need after a busy day of homeschool. We've been learning about, because you all want to know this, we have been learning about reflective materials today and yesterday. It's very fascinating. Let's just build up a little bit of texture on him, and then we'll go over now onto these little guys. To give you a little bit of an update on the shipping situation here in the UK, we have, well, I personally have had a few deliveries this week from orders that I placed towards the middle and end of January. I am still waiting for orders from the beginning of January from that kind of that shipping container that just got into a bit of some of the items didn't have the right customs labels and things. I'm not stamping up, but some of the non-stamping up items in that shipping container had the wrong labels in, so there's been a bit of a delay. So I'm still waiting on those parcels, but the good news is orders that are being placed now look like they're coming through within about 10 days, which is great news, if not sooner. So if there is an order you wanted to place, it looks as though shipping seems to be returning to what we would usually expect, which is great news. It's always nice when you start to see light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it? Okay, so I'm using for my grass here Mossy Meadow. I've started with the light, and then I'm just putting little dots of the dark at the bottom of these leaves, and then I'm going to go back over with the light, just building up that colour and blending those two together. Okay. Hi Claudette. Nice to have you join us this evening. I hope you're doing well. I did pop your DSP in the post yesterday, so hopefully you should get that very, very soon. And then for my toadstool base, I'm using Smoky Slate Light first, and then we'll add a bit of shadow with the dark. And then we'll go back over with the light. I hope you're all still with me. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit of colour to the grass that's in front of the toadstool. I think I may need to invest in a new light Mossy Meadow. Just do a little bit on here. So I'll do all of my colouring first to get that done, and then finally we've got our little snail. So I am using Pool Party for my snail shell. Oops. Sophie has asked, what red am I using? So I have used a mixture of real red and cherry cobbler. I didn't even need that in, Stacey. Because for me, real red is the true red, but I like to use the cherry cobbler. And then I'm just going around the detail on the shell with the dark to bring in some shading. Okay. And then his body is going to be smoky slate. And that's just bringing in all of those colours that I'm using. And Pool Party is our new colour. Okay. That's it. And then again, a little bit of shadow at the bottom and where those little dots are. Okay, so there we have it. We have our little guy there. I'm just going to do a little bit of shading on his eye because the stamping isn't great. And then of course on his letter that he's posting, that he's delivering, we've got a little heart. Okay, so we have now our colouring in done. I do love this stamp, and now we've got a little bit of die cutting to do. So I'm using the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. For those of you that haven't seen this, this is available in the mini catalogue now. And it's fab for when you just need a little piece die cut. Super lightweight, and I'm really impressed with it. So I'm just going to cut him into a rectangle, and then we need our die. So pop our die on. I'm going to attach him just with a little bit of washi tape to hold in place. Like so. And then wheel that through. Apologies if the screen wobbles. Claudette, love the mini boss. I love the mini boss too. He's pretty special, isn't he? So just pop that out so you get a lovely little white border around. I did get my dies, Leslie. They came yesterday, so I've been playing today. And then this one here, our little speech bubble, we'll cut around that as well. Now I haven't used all the dies on this card today because I haven't had a great chance to have a little play, but I will show you how cute is this little mini envelope. It's so sweet. I can't wait to play with that. And that comes from that die there. Love it. Really, really sweet. So again, just running this speech bubble through. I should have done it at the same time, really. That's it. Pop that over there, out of the way. Okay, so now we've got our little speech bubble, and then all that's left is our toadstool. There sadly isn't a die to go around the toadstool, although I know, what's this? No, there is, I'm lying to you all. I sat and I fussy cut this earlier, and I didn't need to. Silly old me. So let's do this. I like the dies even more now. I know there's a die for all of them. Even though, you know, I am a fan of fussy cutting. Okay, all this back through. Apologies for the screen wobble. That's it. Lovely. Right, so now we have our pieces, we can start to put this together. So to start with, we have our little toadstool, which I can stick on. And I'm going to stick that on about there. And I'm going to do it so that that just overhangs ever so slightly from our edge. And then our little snail, he's going to go on with some foam pads. Just the one. So we're starting to get our little picture now. Now the ribbon that I've used on my card here comes from the Playful Pets suite, which I'm a big fan of. And the idea is, all I've done is I've curled this piece of ribbon. Let me just do this. So I've got a piece there, I'm going to swirl it round again. Can't do it now, let me cut a piece off. That's better. Right, so I'm just going to swirl it like so, and I'm going to pop that on like that. Now, with a little bit of washi tape, and the reason I'm using washi tape is because I'm going to pop this little banner over it, or the little speech bubble over it, so you won't then be able to see that. Okay, so our speech bubble, I'm going to stamp the word hello in real red. And I'm going to pop the speech bubble down there so the bottom of it is at a lovely angle, and then just stamp. Lovely. So you can see a question. Let's put missed the start. What did I use on my background? So for the stenciling part, I used this. This comes from the Dandy Garden laser papers. Let me just check what they're called. 2 seconds. My little cupboard behind me. Here we go. So these are the Dandy laser cut papers. So this is what you get. I've used some of these already. You get some lovely laser cut pieces that you can either use as backgrounds on your cards, or like I've done today, you can use them as stencils. And then you get these extra pieces as well. So you get 2 sheets, Dandy laser cut paper they are. So that's what I've used as a stencil for my background. Okay, and then I've done a little bit of stamping with the hello stamp and a bit of spritzing with a stamping blend. And then to pop this on, let's use a couple of mini dimensionals, so I don't want that to be raised too much. Claudettes, but the more I see cards made with this set, the more I like it. I think I may have to invest. It is such a cute set. I tried really hard to not give in, and I caved, and I'm really glad I did. Absolutely loving it. So then to finish off, I'm going to turn this into a thank you card, because why not? And I have used, thanks so much, this comes from the Moving Along stamp set that you would have seen me use last week if you joined me. It's the one with the car and the train and the helicopter in. Really lovely sentiments. 2 reasons why I'm turning this into a thank you card. One is because I am using it for Carly Bertucci's International Blog Highlight this month, which is always about thank you cards. And I'm running a challenge throughout February, a creative challenge, and each day there's a creative prompt. So today's prompt, or tomorrow's prompt, sorry, is gratitude. So I'm using it for that. So to heat emboss, we need a Versamark. I'm going to use my embossing buddy just to take off any static on that card that we might not be able to see. And then we'll stamp our sentiment with Versamark. Okay. I do love a little bit of black and white heat embossing. I always think it just lifts everything. Leslie's been playing with the set for the last 3 days. I can see that. It's super, super addictive. I love it. I really, really love it. Okay, and then now we've done our embossing powder, so we can just heat that to get that to set. So that's nice and set now, so let's just trim this down. Okay, so we've just trimmed that into a little banner for us to pop on our card at the bottom. Like so. And then to finish our card front, I'm going to use some of the Wonderful Gems. They are actually called Wonderful Gems. These are from the Autumn Winter catalogue, and I believe they are carrying over. If they aren't carrying over, I apologise. I'm just going to use 3 of those, like so. And then we just need to do the inside of the card. So the inside of the card, I haven't done anything on that one because I ran out of time earlier. So I've got the same size piece of white as the front, and I'm going to do a little bit more stenciling just in the bottom corner of this. So where's my... So here we go. For Leslie who wasn't watching at the beginning, I've used a smoky slate ink pad. I'm going to load up my blending brush. These blending brushes come in a pack of 3. They're super useful. I'm just going to do a little bit of stenciling in that bottom corner. Lovely. So there we have it. I think that's really, really pretty. And then stamp a few little hellos. I'm just going to clean this because it's got red ink on it. A little hello in the bottom. Bev has just asked, do those brushes wash up okay? They do wash up really, really nicely. I've got a little bit of staining on mine because I used quite a dark colour ink, but I just used warm water and they feel just as soft and smooth as they did before, as when they came out of the packet. So yeah, they wash up really, really nicely. Okay, add a little bit of spritzing and we are ready to pop that inside our card to finish up. Okay, and there we have it, our finished card design for this evening. I've used the Snailed It stamp set and the snail dies that go with it tonight. Finally got to use them. There's the proof that I used them. We've got a little bit of ink blending or stenciling using this piece from the Dandy Laser papers. I've chosen, my colour combo is Smoky Slate, Real Red and a little bit of Pool Party and Mossy Meadow in there. Lots going on there with that card, a lot of technique, but I really like how it's all come together. So thank you so much to everyone who's joined me today. It's been lovely to have you with me. Lots of lovely comments for me to go back and read and answer as well, so thank you for that, everyone. If you have any questions about any of the products or techniques I've used tonight, feel free to drop me a message. As I mentioned at the beginning, all these products are available from my online store. If you use the Hostess code for February, you will get a free gift in March from me. So that's it tonight, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I'll be live tomorrow morning at 10 AM for my next live. It'll be a quick one tomorrow, always is on a Thursday, just a little bit of inspiration for you, and then it'll be Sunday evening at 8:30, and I hope you can join me. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye now.